All right, so we're testing this right now. I'm not sure if we are live or not, but today we're going to be talking about the true ROI of in person. So we're going to wait for some people to come in. We're testing the live setup over here. I think it's working. Let me know in the comments, guys. Say hi if it's working. Say something if it's working or not. And there's a little bit of a delay here, so I think let's see. I'm just looking at all the stats over here. By the way, the tool we're using for this is Wirecast. And by the way, if you guys like videos like this in terms of marketing, getting more clients, if you want to learn about the value of in person, then don't forget to share this with your friends and don't forget to subscribe. So, just came back from a conference last week. Hello, Anand. Thank you for proving that this is working. So good to see you. And yeah, so came back from a conference last week and basically, we're thinking about, okay, what is the ROI of that conference? How much time, how much money do we spend on going to that conference? And hello, Umar, good to see you. And by the way, guys, feel free to let me know where you guys are coming from. Feel free to start dropping in questions, and I'll answer the questions as well. But maybe I should bring this closer. Can you guys hear me okay? If you guys can hear me okay, type you can hear me okay. Maybe I should talk like closer like this. But I'm trying to make this work. This live setup. So when you go to a conference, you might think, okay, maybe the objective is just to get a bunch of leads, collect a bunch of cards, or any type of in-person event at all. And I would say that's not the main objective because there's a bunch of side objectives that you can achieve from going to a conference. So, as an example, going to this conference, we went to a one of the largest software conferences in San Jose this past week, and what happened was I was able to have these touch points in person with people. We were talking about getting sponsorships for the marketing school live event that we're going to be doing in Q2 of 2019 with Neil and I. So by the way, if you want to register for that one, go to singlegrain.com/DTLA, stands for Downtown LA. Check that one out. It's good. And hello, Rosh. How's it going? And so make sure you check that one out. That's basically the application to attend the marketing school live event. Don't worry, those of you that are coming in from Asia and you can't make it to downtown LA, we're going to be recording that as well. And so, that's one of the things we were talking to one of the largest sponsors of that conference that probably paid a couple $100,000 for a booth. We basically had that in-person touch point. Even though we spoke for 5 minutes, that in-person touch point goes a long way versus me just being an email touch point. And so that's one part of it, right? And also, I met the CEO of another company that is probably going to sponsor that conference as well. So, okay, there's sponsorship opportunities right there, okay? And not everyone's going to do a live event, but I'm just saying, like, you don't want to go to a conference just to collect leads because people can smell that from a mile away. And so what you can do also is, okay, well, I got to meet with another couple of friends of mine that one of them, they actually, a few of them, they actually run software companies. So they run software companies, great. And they're talking about, okay, let's do a deal together. So we're doing deals on the side that are not we're not going to have any monetary gain from it, but it's like, let's do a partnership together. Okay. Now, another one is, I'm meeting with other software companies where I think we might be able to use their software. And at the same time, I know I have an audience that can help promote them. So how do we do a deal with each other where we're not going to exchange money, but we might say, oh, why don't we barter? Why don't we trade you services, or why don't we trade you like publicity, and you guys trade us your service, give us like a review copy of your product, and we'll help blow it up for you. And that's actually really interesting to people. Or we actually barter in other ways where we barter kind of speaking gigs too. So one of my friends there actually runs an event company, and actually that the event last week, I solidified my speaking that's going to happen in Hong Kong in May, and I haven't been to Hong Kong since I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. So that's going to be exciting for me. So those are just a couple of things. I'm actually keen to hear from you guys before I go on. Kind of what ROI have you gotten from in person? Because it's not just getting the lead, collecting a business card. I think it goes much deeper than that, and I'm happy to share a couple of tactics. But guys, let me know in the questions too what you guys are thinking. Manav, we're talking about. I'm surprised it doesn't say in the title, but it says the true ROI of in person. So Anand says, how do you learn all kind of marketing things, Eric's? Give me some suggestions and tell me your secrets. My secrets, Anand, is I just keep experimenting and I don't give up. That's all it is. That's the secret. It sounds boring. That's literally all I do. Every little, sexy new tactic or whatever that I try, all these things, the one thing that's worked for me consistently is just I keep learning and I keep working at it. That's all. By the way, guys, before we continue, if you Anand, if you want to learn kind of the secrets in terms of getting more clients, I know Manav, you want to learn how to get more clients, you could go to singlegrain.com/live. We actually have a video on how you can get more clients, and then we actually have a link to a program that we have around that afterwards. So that's singlegrain.com/live. I'll drop it into chat. So Raj said strengthening established social media connections. That's 100% of the one piece of the value that I get. It's like, a lot of people that came up to me, it's like they point at me, and again, it's the same thing that happened the year before. It was, hey, podcast guy, or I love your podcast. Your podcast has made a big difference, right? And a lot of people I've had at my dinners before. So when I went to Dublin for SaaS Doc a couple months ago, I hosted a dinner. Some of the guys that were at the dinner and gals, I actually got to see them in person, and we got to deepen that connection. So those of you that are, and I was the same way before. When I was learning online marketing in the beginning, I was always thinking, man, you know what? I just want to work at home, and I don't want anybody to bother me. I just want to, but you can do that, but it's only going to get you to a certain stage. If you want to get to another level, if you want to level up into, building a great company, let's say you have a mission around it, you're starting to go for something bigger than yourself, then you're going to have to interact with people. That's just the game, right? And for me, I'm naturally an introverted person. I don't really, I need to recharge. And, I remember a couple weeks ago in Mexico, there's a networking event at night, and I decided to skip on it. There's other reasons I decided to skip on it, but for the most part, I just wanted to stay and recharge in my room and also catch up on work too. And so I'm naturally, people think I'm extroverted, but I'm an introvert. So I'm an extroverted introvert. So that's an easy way to think about it. So Anand says learning UI, UX, and programming will be useful for marketing. So Anand, when I used to work at Treehouse, which actually, so you know what? I worked at Treehouse and I led their marketing team, and I saw the CEO at the conference I was at, and we hugged it out. It was, the time we spent together was really something I really cherished. And, we hugged and we talked about how things are going with each other. And we also, he wanted to learn what I was up to. I wanted to learn what he was up to. And, that was going a little deeper on that connection. It's kind of solidifying the connection years and years. I've worked with him. I worked for him 7 years ago, and it's still a very strong connection. And so, should you learn UI? Should you learn UX? Should you learn programming? It depends on what you want to do. If you want to learn marketing, like you're watching this right now, maybe you don't want to learn it, right? Because you want to focus on marketing. Because with marketing, there's all these new tactics, all these new strategies coming all the time. Well, Neil and I are actually recording. And by the way, guys, we're going to go live tomorrow on the recording. I should probably schedule that. We are going to go live tomorrow on the marketing school live. And Neil's going to be sitting in this room, and we're going to be actually recording it. That's why we got the setup over here. I have a mic over here. He has a mic over there. So it's going to be great. So make sure you guys check that out on this channel. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be at 11 a.m. So I'll make sure to get my team to schedule that in. And we'll probably send an email blast out too. So Anand, I'm going to say, what Manav says is right. It's I wanted to learn programming, which is why initially, the year before I even joined Treehouse, I was trying to learn programming. And it's like, there's so much you can do. Can you learn programming? Can you learn design? Can you learn how to do law, right? Can you learn taxes? There's a lot of things you can do, but the key to ask yourself is, what is your objective? Where are you trying to go? Ask yourself that all the time. Because the thing is, if you are unfocused and you keep thinking about, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. The thing I talk about all the time is that, success right now is this card over here, success is on all the edges, right? The thing is, if you start in the middle, and then if you go up and you decide to go somewhere else, you decide to go somewhere else, you decide to go somewhere else, you're never going to reach the edge over here. You're never going to be successful, okay? So it's an analogy I give a lot, but I would say if you want to learn marketing, stick with marketing. And then when you get really good at it, maybe you can start to think about other things, okay? So going back to the ROI of in-person, also, it's not even just ROI for business purposes. It's also ROI with my team too, because the in-person touch points where I'm outside of the office, where you're actually in a different element, you're interacting with different people. They're actually out there. They're getting to explore different areas. They're getting to meet other people. They're getting to broaden their horizons, and they'll appreciate that. And at the same time too, they get to control a lot of things that's kind of in their power, right? Now, for example, if I was somebody on my team and I wanted to learn about these other companies, I might get other opportunities. I might make connections with people where it might lead to other career opportunities in the future. It might lead to partnerships. You can't try to take everything for yourself. When you bring your team, They're going to appreciate you for that. And also you get to interact with their team too. I mean, we went to eat. I wanted to take them somewhere nice, and I guess we did go somewhere nice in a different way, but we just ate basic Chinese food. They really wanted Chinese food, and we had that, and it was delicious, and it was good, kind of, just getting to talk shop with people, and get a little closer with them, right? And so, Anon asks, what is the future of podcasting? The future of podcasting is not going anywhere. In fact, Spotify just bought Gimlet Media for over $230 million, and they bought the podcasting app Anchor, right? That means they're getting a lot more serious about this podcasting stuff, okay? So, guys, I mean, the us doing this live right now, okay? Doing the podcasts, interacting on social media. When you guys DM me, I try to respond as much as I can. And when you email me, I try to respond. But those are just micro touch points to get to lead up to a conference where you might get to interact with, your fans live, or you might do a live event like what Neil and I were doing at marketing school. It goes such a long way. And, what I'll tell you too is, if you're thinking about working with clients, or you're thinking about doing consulting, anything like that, or even if you have a product, when you meet your largest customers, when you meet them in person and you add other value in person, when you humanize yourself, the customer is going to end up staying longer. The customer becomes your friend. That's the name of the game that we're playing. We're playing the human game. Okay, it's not just let's do this marketing tactic. Try to get them to buy, get them on the email list, and then they're just a number. When you start to treat people like people, and I'm gonna talk about this in the future. One of the books I'm gonna make this required reading. We'll talk about this. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception. But when you treat people like people and not like objects, not like a number, not like a user, it's gonna go a lot further. Okay, when you can do that, when you can use that dynamic, whether it's with customers or whether it's with people on your team, it's going to go a lot further than saying, oh, we're not hitting this revenue number, we're not hitting this ROI number. Okay, let's see. So Manav says, Anand, I'm starting the same, and yes, it will work. Indian marketing is dying for podcasts. Just make sure your idea is unique, not something everyone is doing. I agree with that 100%. You have to. Manav has heard me say before, you have to zig where other people zag, and that whole thing is, well, I guess I got someone coming in. Hello, Noah. Noah's adjusting the camera for me. Anyway, so you got to be able to do things differently, right? So if everyone's doing an interview podcast, which is why I'm changing my other podcast, the Growth Everywhere podcast, the 4 out of 5 episodes each week, that's just myself talking, right? Because people want to hear from you. They don't want to just hear, oh, it's another interview podcast, how boring. Because everyone can do an interview podcast now. My mom can do an interview podcast. It's so easy, right? So what can you do that's different? Because you have your own perspective, you have your own journey. What can you do that's a little different than someone else's? Manav, you're on your own journey. Anand, you're on your own journey too. Raj, same thing. You guys all have something that's unique to say because you all have your own unique upbringing. My unique upbringing allowed me to start talking about leveling up, which is now how I kind of play the game of business. I'm like, okay, this business is working. Now I'm going to diversify a little bit. I'm going to invest in this business. I'm going to make sure I diversify so when a market correction happens, I don't lose everything. And that way I'm just, stacking on top of each other. Also building a game is building, another game I'm playing is building a great culture too. How do you make sure that everyone at your company is you're setting them up for success, right? So there's a lot of nuances there. And that's basically the game that I'm playing. So Nate O'Brien asks, who's ready for the marketing school live event? I'm going to raise my hand because I'm going to be there. It's going to be in downtown LA. Guys, the application is singlegrain.com/downtown LA. So singlegrain.com/DTLA. I'm going to put this into chat right now. All right. So that is where you can put in the application, your application to go to the marketing school live event. We're capping it at 500 people. We want it to be 500 is still a lot of people, but we want to keep it a little more intimate. There's a lot of people applying right now. So guys, put your hat in the ring. We're trying to, make sure that it's going to be a great event for everyone. Raj says, I podcasted for over 10 years, mostly solo. However, interview podcasts tend to go further. It depends, I think, which is why, on Mondays, Raj, I still do the interview podcast, but Tuesdays through Fridays, it's just my perspective. Yes, interviewing is a pain. I agree with you, Raj. Manav says, I'm waiting for the recordings after the event. Don't worry. They'll be coming. Syed says, any book recommendations for product design, meaning able to come up with new product ideas? I think I've bought a couple of those. I just can't think of any right now. So that's not really helpful. Yeah, sorry, can't be more helpful there. I would, you know what I would do? I would just go to Amazon, and then I would just, look for the top kind of product design books. All right, so we're gonna work towards wrapping up here, but guys, let me put the offer in front of you guys again, because we're doing a live right here, and the marketing part of this is, well, you got to put an offer out there every now and then, so you got to make people aware of your offer. If you guys are interested in basically acquiring more customers, acquiring more clients for your consulting business, go to singlegrain.com/live, and we actually have a video that you can check out. And then after that, there's actually a program that we have that can help you get more clients for your mainly for consulting businesses, but also how to get more customers too. So I dropped that into the chat as well. So guys, we're gonna keep doing live events. Like if I think about the money that we invested in this event, so let's say we invested $20,000. Okay, so let's say we didn't get any customers at all for the agency, but we got $5,000 in value from software, this software barter, and we got another $10,000 in value from another person that we bartered with. So that's $15,000 right there. And after that, we also got, let's see, $30,000 in value from being able to get another booth. Okay, so someone offering to sponsor another conference, and then let's call another $10,000 to $15,000 for being able to speak at another conference. So that's over the $20,000 mark. And so when you think about it that way, you can't try to quantify everything, by the way, but quantify as much as you can. But when you think about it that way, it's not just the direct ROI that you got from it, but the deferred ROI. So maybe the ROI that you get in the future, maybe in the next 12 months, but also building the relationships too. Those, to me, that's like infinite ROI. When you build a strong relationship with someone and they connect you with someone else, that person connects you with someone else, and you're being helpful to other people, you're treating people like people, that's going to go a lot further than saying, oh, I just want to make money off you. I just want you to buy my product. Because even what I'm doing with you right now is I'm building a relationship with you. And that's why I can say every 10 to 15 minutes or so, I can say, hey, by the way, go check out our thing. If this makes sense to you, if you're trying to build your consulting business, you're trying to build your agency, go to singlegrain.com/live. See, there, I did it again. So Manav says, have you invested in any stocks of any company? Manav, I don't really play in the stock market that much because my thinking is that the best type of investing is number one, in yourself, number two, in other businesses that you're able to control more. So if you look at Elon Musk with Tesla, with SpaceX, those are all the things that he can control, right? The more control you have over it, and the more skilled you think you are, the more you trust yourself, the more you want to be able to control. Now, I'm not saying don't put any money in stocks, maybe 10, 15% or so. Now, the stocks I put money into, think about it this way. And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. This is not official financial advice for those of you that are in the United States. So when I think about it, it's like, okay, what are the tech stocks that I truly trust? I trust Amazon. And even though Facebook is going through a lot of turmoil, I trust Facebook, I trust Alphabet, right? The reason I trust them is because their business models are sound. So there's those three. And then also you got to look at dividend paying stocks too. So AT&T, for example, gives a dividend. They might give you like 4 or 6% dividend every year. So dividend means the amount that they're gonna pay you back a certain percentage, and they're actually gonna give you money back, right? So forget about the upside. If the stock goes up and down, they're actually giving you money back for putting money in, and so that's something to consider too. Maybe you have a bunch of dividends, maybe you have some in stocks and bonds, or in bonds, things like that, and that's what I would consider. The other, I mean, for the vast majority of things, I would just consider putting money into yourself first, so you can continue to learn. Let's say you're starting early days, and then start investing in business, right? And then start starting to diversify into other businesses, and then you're gonna make yourself basically hard to defeat. Because if you have multiple income streams, it's hard to completely go bust. You don't want to. The phrase is you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and I would agree with that. Okay, so let's see. Syed says, thank you for replying, Eric. You had an interview with Greta Van Riel, and if you can share your thoughts, opinions on her product fit. So, Syed, I actually don't really remember. I mean, Greta's great. I don't remember everything about that interview. But if we talk about product market fit from a software perspective, here's how you might do it. Once you have, let's say you have 50 customers or 100 customers or so, you will send a survey to your audience saying, hey, look, how disappointed would you be if this product or service no longer existed? And if over 40% of people say very disappointed, then you know you have product market fit. I'll give you an example. So if we look at the growth, the marketing school audience, we actually sent that question to our audience, the marketing school audience, and 78% of people said they would be very disappointed if we no longer did marketing school. So that goes a long way. That means we're way above the 40% mark. So try sending that to your audience. And even if you have a blog, send it out to your blog audience too, just to see how people feel about your blog. Because if it's below 40%, that means you have some work to do. Okay. Anand says, why people demotivated after their first failure and they're no more ready to do things. So I think, Anand, I think your question, so nowadays people are settled for a 9-to-5 job. Why? Anand, I think, the older I get, the more I realize it's okay. Like for the vast majority of people, I think it's okay to have a 9-to-5 because you get stability. You want a culture where it's cool to work with, cool people around you, and you want to be working on cool things too, which is why, Single Grain is an agency, right? But we're doing other things too, which makes it cool, at least in my opinion. It makes it cool where we're working on a bunch of different things, and we have a mission that we're going for, right? Which is educating 40 million people, business and marketing leaders on creating predictable growth. That's something we can all strive for, and we're constantly refining on that. So that's okay. If you sign up to work on something cool like Treehouse, when I got to work on Treehouse, it's like educating people on web design coding. That was a worthwhile use of my time. So I don't think there's anything wrong with 9-to-5, but for me, for some people, this is why there's only a certain amount of entrepreneurs in the world, because it just doesn't jive with them. They want to work on different things. They don't do well with authority. So I don't think there's that's wrong, that's right. At least for my point of view, my perspective, if there's more people around me, I want that are like me, I want to educate those people on, hey, entrepreneurship is the path for you. And then for other people, marketing is the path for you, and it's okay to work a 9-to-5. But my message is really, the majority of it is, I love entrepreneurship, so I'm going to talk about it more, but it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. I don't think there's that person's bad because they're working a 9-to-5. I think, it's everyone has their preferences. Didi asks, hi, Eric. For my mobile app agency, I often have leads that want something I know we can develop, but since we have no similar portfolio items, I find it very difficult to close the lead. Any tips? So Didi, if you go to singlegrain.com/live, we'll actually teach you in the video about how you can get more clients and how you can close these clients too. But I'll answer your question right now. So when you think about when you're starting out, here's the problem. You don't have any case studies, right? But then also, you've never gotten the work in the first place. So how can you justify, having someone pay for your services? So what I would say is maybe you discount them at 50% or so, or maybe you say, hey, look, I'll do the work for free, but I require a case study. I require a written testimonial. What do you think about that? And look, you're going to have to take your lickings, especially in the first year, because nobody knows who you are. And so when you're able to do that, work for free for a little bit, keep doing it. After a year or so, you're going to have that portfolio, and you're going to be able to show people that, hey, look, we got the experience with this. Everything's going to be great. Okay. Manav says 9-to-5 are not bad. What's bad is doing something you hate. Absolutely. So I'll tell you what. I mean, we actually have, recently we had someone depart because, this person decided that, hey, look, the role that they're in is not the fit for them, and they want to do something that they're passionate about. And I said, look, I totally support you. I could totally see that this is not what you're looking for, and I fully support what you're trying to do. I wish you the best, and that's fine. In your life, in your career, you're experimenting with different things. That's totally fine. So I'm gonna keep going. Dasha says, hey, I'm starting a social media marketing consulting agencies. How can I scale it to $1,000 a month? Dasha, if you want to learn how to scale it to $1,000 a month, hey, go to singlegrain.com/live. We actually have a video there on how you can start your consulting business, scale it to $1,000 a month. Okay. Rashad says, hi, Eric. Would you recommend moving into smart clothing? It might take a big investment on my part, which I don't have, but I know there's a market and demand for it. Rashad, I would say this. If it's going to take a big investment and you don't have a lot of experience in it in the beginning, I would say go work for someone for a year or two or 3 years or so. Go work for someone, preferably a startup, because you're going to get to put your hands in a lot of different things. You're going to learn a lot. You might not get paid as much as you can at a big corporation, but you're going to learn so much, and then you could go off and start your own thing. Because I think with things like smart clothing that require heavy investment, a lot of domain expertise, I don't think it's just you're going to go into it and it's gonna be an immediate success. I just think it's very risky, and you want to think about how you can de-risk yourself before you go into things like this. All right, guys. So that is it for today. Today's a short one. We're gonna do more of these. By the way, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, you're gonna see Neil Patel and I live. We're gonna be doing marketing school, and it's gonna be for 2 hours. So it's gonna be a good time. I know some of you in India right now. It's the evening for you, but if you want to check it out, watch your Indian brother and then your Asian brother. I guess we're both Asian. It's gonna be tomorrow. Check it out, 11 a.m. I'll have my team set it up. And with that being said, I hope you have a good evening, and I hope you have a good night. So I'm gonna disconnect now.